My name is Suresh Verghis. I'm a leadership facilitator. I'm also faculty at Great Lakes Institute of Management, Chennai. And I have a corporate background, and currently I help leaders change behaviors to perform and succeed with work success as well as personal success. Sridhar?
Great, thank you, Suresh. Hi, this is Sridhar Krishnan, specializing in the IT services industry, where I do a whole lot of digital consulting, mostly focused on the energy industry. But I've been in this business 25 years in various sorts of leadership roles across a few different countries, across a few different levels of leadership as well. And I've also been in the corporate L&D space. That's me, and I am based in Bangalore.
Ravi?
Thank you. Good morning, all. I'm Ravi Bhuthapuri, here based in Chennai. I'm now a corporate training and learning facilitator. I also mentor managers. Have a background in IT, but for the last 10 years, I've been conducting workshops and helping people in their professional lives. Thank you.
GNR?
Yeah, my name is GN Radhakrishnan, commonly known as GNR. That's the way people call me. I'm a visiting faculty at Great Lakes Institute of Management, and I also do a lot of training in the education sector, especially schools. That's what I do.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I worked in the corporate for about 16 years, and the last about 30 years I've been consulting and training.
What should I do when my boss takes all the credit for my good work? Sridhar?
Yeah, that's a tough one, actually. In many ways, though, I think a number of things that we said when we spoke about the previous topic, right? My boss is not being appreciative of my work. A number of those things I feel fit in this problem statement as well. My boss is taking all of the credit for my work. Again, I'll go back to what I said earlier. About having an honest, candid conversation with the boss, being self-aware of what I'm expecting, why this matters to me, being aware of my boss's own thinking, his own mentality as a person. Sometimes you see people that may come across as taking credit because where a team has put an effort or people have put an effort, the boss, and while presenting it, while talking, may say I instead of we. That happens, right? I've seen that happen. But it is not intentional. It is just a manner of speaking sometimes, and then that could be mistaken, right? But sometimes it's very clearly visible that the boss is in fact seeking to take credit explicitly for something that he or she did not actually do, right? If you have that sort of a situation, again, you go, hey, like Ravi mentioned earlier on, right? You got to have that conversation with the boss and tell them, hey, it matters to me. Maybe because I need to build my career path, and my contributions add up to my credibility, my reputation, and so on and so forth. So it's important that I get the visibility. So may I request you to please? Yes, I would love to share the credit. I don't mean that I need 100% of the credit, but can you share the credit? It's a perfectly okay conversation to have. But if you find, again, I'll go back to what we said. If you find that you've got a boss that is that you just have to sometimes just relate to a twisted person. If it's not going to help, and if that boss person is what he or she is, and you can't do anything about it, find the next best opportunity to find a different goals, because it's not going to work. And sometimes if you get to that wall, you just have to acknowledge it for what it is.
Jenar?
Yeah, I think this is very tricky. What Sridhar touched upon is, I think it has to be validated that it's really happening, because sometimes it comes through other channels. Your boss has taken credit, and sometimes there can be distortion in that kind of communication, and it may not be really true. So I think it's very important to really be sure, practically 100% sure that that has happened, which is only possible when you see it. When you are a part of the whole thing and you clearly see that the boss has taken all the credit for something that had been done without even mentioning your name. It can happen. Yeah, it happens. I think if that is so, my take is if there is no compelling reason to be there, I think you should look for another job. That's what I would think, because sometimes if it's a continuous thing that's happening in your life, day in and day out, it can be very difficult to, swallow that. So that's basically what I would think that somebody has to look at.
Ravi?
I think Sridhar and Janar have covered all I wanted to say. Just one small thing. Even if they have taken all the credit, like Sridhar said, I think we should check if that was unintentional. In a meeting, they may not have mentioned your name at all, and you're there and you see it, and you're going to get worked up. So one of the things we talk about is being assertive. So if you feel like talking about it, be assertive and confident. Bring it up in a gentle way, because maybe they didn't mean it. And if they did mean it, you're not going to change anything, right? So at least you get your point across, make them know that you noticed. And if they want to change their ways and acknowledge you, they will immediately rectify the problem. I mean, a good leader will do that. Will send out a communication saying, I did not give the credit where it was due in yesterday's meeting. So give them a chance to fix it. And if they don't fix it, like Gina said, it's time to find fresh pastures. That's my take.
Yep. I would also go back to, in addition to what the three of you said, go back to two things that I mentioned in our previous session, which is about being able to examine myself as to, is this really valid? And am I really thinking about it the right way? And as GNR said, is this second-hand information? Because usually that also tends to happen a lot. And the second thing being being able to provide that feedback in a factual manner to the boss in such a way, and especially if it's happening repeatedly. One-off instances are normally forgiven by everybody, but if it's happening repeatedly, then there's definitely a need to go back to the boss and have this open conversation. It's not an easy situation for a boss, definitely. The boss can be on the back foot and can be defensive as well. But I would think it tends to happen at junior levels more than at senior levels. And at senior levels, people kind of, if they're the affected party, they're able to just move forward and get used to it, sort of a thing, and really ignore it beyond a point of time or beyond a level. So important is, I guess, if it's really bothering you, to definitely give feedback, make sure you give feedback. And the other is, of course, to look at, is this really the environment I need to be in? And then look at other places. But that definitely should not be the first option. It should be considered after, a point of time. So, yeah. Great. So that was fantastic.